One atom.
You have to usually take a few, and you have to have it close to high density. Why uranium is used for nuclear explosions is that they're a super high number. So like hydrogen has 1 proton, 1 neutron, and 1 electron, and then helium has 2 protons, 2 neutrons. Uranium atom has uranium-218 would have 218 protons and neutrons. So it's this very dense nucleus, and it'll have that many electrons whizzing around the outside of it. So when you can hit that with a couple of protons and cause that to explode, so you have 218 protons shooting out at once, and you surround it more uranium, and once you can get a bunch of these atoms to start, it doesn't stop, and it just.
Well, let's move on from there.
Wow.
Let's show another section of
the strength at which they explode out is the strength of the field. It's not a magnetic field, but it's like a gravitational field that holds all those guys together, and so it's a huge amount of energy that holds these together. It's like the glue that holds the universe together, and why we have such a low gravity. Otherwise, we'd sink into the floor. So it's a puzzle to scientists. The gravity that we experience is so weak, when the very things that make us up is this super strong force.
Well, God is incredible with what He's done, and what is it? Isaac Newton said, "I'm just kind of picking up pretty little shells on the side of the shore with the inventions and discoveries that he made." He's considered the greatest scientist. Einstein said, "There's not been a scientific mind like him since. Maybe there never will be." Isaac Newton, who discovered so much, the law of gravity, for instance, and go on with Newton. But he said, and that's how science developed. It was all because of this Bible, because all the scientists, for the most part, in the West, and all of science came out of the West because they thought there was a logical God, and we've talked about that, who could do a logical universe, make a logical universe, we'd be able to figure it out, and there it was, laws. And so other civilizations that thought things happen haphazardly, randomly, never investigated like that. But we're not going to have time for the second section of film if we keep talking. So we've got an 11-minute section of film where Hovind kind of segues from the Haeckel drawings of those false embryos by fraudulent drawings, trying to make them all seem to be the same thing, basically recapitulating. Ontogeny recapitulates phylogeny, I think they called it. And he's going to go to abortion and talk a little bit about that. And this is pretty interesting stuff, and ends up with some interesting quotes by Adolf Hitler, interestingly. So let's roll that second section of film, and we'll be back to talk with you in 11 minutes.
Protesting this doctor getting shot, Dr. Gunn. As we got off the plane, I noticed on their shirt they had in huge block letters, "Choice above all." So, being my mild-mannered self, I said, "Excuse me, ma'am, what does this mean, choice above all?" She said, "We believe a woman ought to have a right to choose." I said, "Choose what?" She said, "Choose to have an abortion. It's her body, you know." Well, yes, ma'am. If she wants to abort her body, I suppose that's fine. But it looks to me like she wants to abort somebody else's body. When you consider half of them are male, it's not her body. Think about it. I said, "Ma'am, I'm kind of curious about this. I have 3 kids, 1 of each. I delivered one of my kids at home. I taught biology and anatomy. I used to raise hamsters. I'm kind of familiar with how this works." I said, "Tell me, why does the woman's right to choice stop at birth? Why don't we let the mother kill the baby after it's born? It'd be a lot safer and simpler." By the way, that's what Peter Singer wants. He's pushing for abortions up till the kid's 28 days old. You can decide if you want to keep it or not. Coming soon, folks. You watch for that one. I said, I got an idea. Let's extend abortion rights up until the kid's 2 years old. I know a lot of mothers with a 2-year-old that have thought about it a time or two. I won't ask you to raise your hand, but I know you're out there. Hey, let's extend abortion rights up until the kid is 18. I bet they'd behave a lot better. All right, son, one more time, and I'm going to abort you. Hey, teacher, where's Johnny today? Oh, he didn't do his homework yesterday, so his mommy aborted him. Hey, grades would skyrocket, folks. Well, the ladies didn't want to talk about it anymore, I guess, because they left. And so I went and got my luggage, and I'm waiting talking to a cameraman. He showed up from Chicago to film this rally. I thought, now wait a minute, there's going to be 6 people march around town. It's going to make worldwide news. You can get 100,000 people to line your streets against abortion, and it won't make the news. Have you noticed that? You know, the news media calls them pro-choice. And they call guys like me anti-abortion. Anti is a negative term. Pro is a positive term. It's called slanted journalism. That's one of the reasons I refuse to take the local paper. We get a call once in a while. Hey, you want to take the local paper? I say, no, ma'am, we don't have a parakeet. That's what I tell them. The news media always slants it to the liberal cause. Probably because they're just about all getting owned by a few people now, the Gannett Press and these guys. But when the kids got shot in Colorado, right away they jumped on the gun control issue. Did you notice that? Look, if kids keep getting shot in our schools, maybe there are some other issues to discuss, like should we have public schools? Or should we teach them evolution? That's what caused the shooting at Columbine. The boys made a tape before the shooting. They said, he doesn't deserve the jaw evolution gave him. Look for his jaw, it won't be on his body. They did the shooting on Hitler's birthday on purpose. They shot Isaiah because he was black. Eric's t-shirt said natural selection. We cover more on that on video number 5. And then Rosie got on her program. Rosie O'Donnell said, see, we need more gun control. Rosie, they broke 18 gun laws going into that school. 2 more gun laws would not have stopped them. I like what that guy put on his tire cover on his van. He said, blaming guns for Columbine is like blaming spoons for Rosie O'Donnell being fat. It's not the spoon's fault. You know, if kids keep getting shot in our schools, maybe the issue we should discuss is certain criminals ought to be publicly executed. Or maybe we should discuss the issue, should all law-abiding citizens be required to carry guns to protect themselves? Yeah. Somebody sent me this button as a joke. Proudly unarmed. Would you wear that? Think about it. What does that say to a criminal? Rob me. Isn't that exactly what it says? Our founding fathers gave us the Second Amendment, the right to keep and bear arms. The purpose of the Second Amendment is not so you can go duck hunting. The purpose of the Second Amendment is so you can protect yourself if the government goes bad. That's why we got it. Hey, did you know there's an awful lot of animals that eat grass that have horns? You don't need horns to eat grass. But see, you need the horns to explain to the lion, stay off my back so I can eat the grass. And that's the purpose of the Second Amendment, so the citizens can explain to everybody else, leave me alone. I just want to work and earn my money. Now leave me alone. Right? Get into more of that on part 5. Here's the logic they used to justify abortion. They're going to say it's not human. Oh, come on, that's not true. Proven wrong, 1874. They're going to say it's not viable. It can't live on its own. Well, you're not viable either, stark naked on the North Pole. They say it can't live on its own, so we can kill it. I know kids that are 25 that still come borrow money from Dad. Hey, Dad, can I borrow some money? You ought to be able to live on your own by now, son. They're going to say the child may be unwanted. Show me a kid that's... There's a lot of kids that are unwanted today. My parents moved 4 times when I was growing up, but I found them every time. Now listen, there's probably 15 people in this room that have had an abortion. Now you listen carefully. God loves you and can forgive you, and it's not a problem. I mean, half the Bible's written by murderers. You don't have to go on the rest of your life, you know, trying to justify it. Just admit it, confess it, say, Lord, I'm sorry, forgive me, and go on and do something for God with your life, okay? Quit your whining and go serve God. They're going to say the child may be a financial burden. Show me a kid that's not. Every kid's a financial burden. Come on. They're going to say it might be from rape or incest. Well, then you killed the rapist, not the baby.